Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, today we are starting new chapter, chapter 5, Frustration of the Sacrifice of Daksha. Text number 1 onwards. Maitre Vacha Bhavo Bhavanya Nindram Prajapate Asatkritaya Avagamya Narda Swaparshad Sanyam Chatad Dhvar Bhuvir Vidravitam Krodham Aparamadade. Maitre said, when Lord Shiva heard from Narad that Sati, his wife, was now dead because of Prajapati Daksha's insult to her, and that his soldiers had been driven away by the Ribhu demigods, he became greatly angry. So Narad Muni did his part. From sacrifice, he went to Kailash and told Shiva what happened. Otherwise, because the story has to go on. So that's why, people don't understand Narad Muni's position. It's not like he likes to be a tattletale. He wanted Daksha, I guess he wanted Daksha to be punished properly. Lord Shiva understood that Sati, being the youngest daughter of Daksha, could present the case of Lord Shiva's purity of purpose and would thus be able to mitigate the misunderstanding between Daksha and himself. But such a compromise was not attained, and Sati was deliberately insulted by her father by not being received properly when she visited his house without being invited. Sati herself could have killed her father, Daksha, because she is the personified material energy, and her immense power to kill and create within this material universe, and has immense power. In the Brahma Samhita, her strength is described. She is capable of creating and dissolving many universes. But although she is so powerful, she acts under the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna as his shadow. It would not have been difficult for Sati to punish her father, but she thought that since she was his daughter, it was not proper for her to kill him. Thus she decided to give up her own body, which she had obtained from his, and Daksha did not even check her. That was even more terrible. Daksha didn't even try to stop her. When Sati passed away, giving up her body, the news was conveyed by Narad to Lord Shiva. Narad always carries the news of such events because he knows their import. When Lord Shiva heard that his chaste wife Sati was dead, he naturally became exceedingly angry. He also understood that Bhrigu Muni had created the Ribhu Deva demigods by uttering the mantras of the Yajurveda, and that these demigods had driven away all of his soldiers who were present in the arena of sacrifice. Therefore, he wanted to reply to this insult, and thus he decided to kill Daksha, because he was the cause of the death of Sati. And if now Lord Shiva is deciding to do something, what can Bhrigu Muni do with his demigods? Krudha sudashto sthaputta sadhur jatir jatam tadid vahani sato gra uchisham utkritya rudraha sahasothito hasan gambhir nado visasarjatam hui. Thus, Lord Shiva, being extremely angry, pressed his lips with his teeth and immediately snatched from his head a strand of hair which blazed like electricity or fire. He stood up at once, laughing like a madman, and dashed the hair to the ground. So he immediately snatched one strand of hair from his head and just dashed it to the ground. Tatati kayas tanuvas prashandivam sahasra bahur ghanruk trisuri drik karal dashtra jwala agnir murdhaja kapal male Vividhot Yatayudha. A fearful black demon as high as the sky and as bright as 3 suns combined was thereby created. His teeth were very fearful and the hairs on his head like burning fire. He had thousands of arms equipped with various weapons and he was garlanded with the heads of men. Just imagine the potency of Lord Shiva. If we pluck a strand of hair and throw in the ground, not even an ant is going to get disturbed. But here, Lord Shiva throwing one strand of hair, and such a fearful demon appeared. Tam kim karomiti grinatam aha baddhanjalim bhagwan bhutanatha daksham sayagyam jahimat bhatanam tvam agrani rudra bhatan shakome. When that gigantic demon asked with folded hands, "What shall I do, my Lord?" Lord Shiva, who's known as Bhutanath, directly ordered, "Because you're born from my body, you're the chief of all my associates. Therefore, kill Daksha and his soldiers at the sacrifice." Now here is a beginning of competition between Brahm Tejas and Shiva Tejas. By Brahm Tejas, Brahminical strength, Bhrigu Muni had created the Ribhu demigods who had driven away the soldiers of Lord Shiva stationed in the arena. When Lord Shiva heard that his soldiers had been driven away, he created the tall black demon Veerabhadra to retaliate. There is sometimes a competition between the mode of goodness and the mode of ignorance. That is the way of material existence. Even when one is situated in the mode of goodness, there is every possibility that his position will be mixed with or attacked by the mode of passion or ignorance. That is the law of material nature. Although pure goodness or Shuddha Sattva is a basic principle in the spiritual world, pure manifestation of goodness is not possible in this material world. There's a struggle for existence between different material qualities. It's always present. This quarrel between Lord Shiva and Bhrigu Muni centering around Prajapati Daksha is a practical example of such competition between the different qualitative modes of material nature. So Bhrigu Muni created these demigods, Ribhus, and Lord Shiva created one demon with this mode of ignorance, Veerabhadra, and ordered him to kill Daksha and disrupt the whole sacrifice. Agyapta evam kuvitena manyuna sadeva devam parichakrame vibhum mene tadatman rahasa mahiyasam tat sahasahishnu. Maitreya continued, "My dear Vidura, that black person was the personified anger of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he was prepared to execute the orders of Lord Shiva. Thus, considering himself capable of coping with any power offered against him, he circumambulated Lord Shiva. Anviyamana satu rudra parshadar brisham nadad bhir vyandat subhairavam udyamya shulam jagadanta kantakam sampradruvad ghoshana bhushnangrihi." Many of the soldiers of Lord Shiva followed the fierce personality in a tumultuous uproar. He carried a great trident, fearful enough to kill even death, and on his legs he wore bangles that seemed to roar. Athartvijo yajamana sadasya kakubhya udichyam prasamikshya renu tamha kim etat kut etad rajo abhut iti dvij patanyascha datyuhu. At that time, all the persons assembled in the sacrificial arena, the priest, the chief of the sacrificial performance, and the Brahmins and the wives wondered where the darkness was coming from. Later, they could understand that it was a dust storm, and all of them were full of anxiety. So just imagine this Veerabhadra along with the associates of Lord Shiva, he went towards the sacrificial arena. Everybody there thought that some big storm was coming. Vatanavanti nahi santi dasyava prachin barihir Jivati hogra danda, gavo na kalyantitam kuto rajo, loko adhuna kim pralayaya kalpate. Conjecturing on the origin of the storm, they said, there is no wind blowing and no cows are passing. How is it possible that this dust storm could be raised by plunderers? Nor is it possible. For there is still the strong King Barhi who would punish them. Where is this dust storm coming from, blowing from? Is this dissolution of the planet now to occur? So that's what they were thinking. Where is this dust storm coming? Wind is not blowing, cows are not passing like Godudili Vela. So it's not that, and plunderers are not there because King Barhi is ruling. So where is this dust storm coming? Specifically significant in this verse is Prachin Barhir Jivati. The king of that part of the land was known as Barhi. And although he was old, he was still living and he was a very strong ruler. Thus, there was no possibility of an invasion by thieves and plunderers. Indirectly, it is stated here that thieves and plunderers, rogues, and unwanted population can exist only in a state or kingdom where there is no strong ruler. When in the name of justice, thieves are allowed liberty, the state and kingdom are disturbed by such plunderers and unwanted population. So a strong king with a strong order, strong ruler is required for the proper upkeep of the society, upkeep of the kingdom, proper protection of the people in general. Otherwise, these kind of plunderers, they'll just rule over. Thieves are given liberty. And actually, this is, in the name of justice, this is what is happening all over the world. Liberals are doing whatever they want to do, but they don't understand. This way the society does not function. In Manu Samhita it is said, if a person murders somebody, then he should be given death penalty. Simple as that. The reason is given. Because if we don't, then the person who has committed crime, who was murdered, he will have to suffer for a long time, very long time. And sooner or later, he will be killed by the person who he has killed. So to avoid that kind of situation, because he's going to suffer for his karma anyway. If not here, then Yamraj is going to give him punishment. So better give him that death penalty. It's good for him. Because people these days, in terms of being liberal and being forgiving, forgiveness is good, but we cannot have Yamraj forgive him. So the person is going to get punished, but his punishment will be prolonged. This part people don't understand, what's in the Vedic scriptures. So, so in name of liberal justice or whatever they want to call it, compassion is good, but not every case. In this case, it's a compassion for that person who has committed crime, because he will not have to suffer for too long. But people in general, they don't understand. The dust storm created by the soldiers and assistants of Lord Shiva resembled the situation at the time of dissolution of this world. When there is a need for the dissolution of the material creation, this function is conducted by Lord Shiva. Therefore, the situation now created by him resembled the dissolution of the cosmic manifestation. So at the time of dissolution, Lord Shiva takes charge, because that's his service. So this looked like, resembled the dissolution, but it's just the dissolution of the sacrifice by Daksa. That's all, not the planet, not the universe. Prasuti Mishra Striya Udvigna Chittaha Uchur Vipako Vrijinasya Yeva Tasya Yat Pashyanti Nam Duhitrinam Prajeshaha Sutam Satim Avadhadyavaga Nagam. Prasuti, the wife of Daksha, along with the other women assembled, became very anxious and said, "This danger has been created by Daksha because the death of Sati, who, even though completely innocent, quit her body as a sister's looked on." Prasuti, being a soft-hearted woman, could immediately understand that the imminent danger approaching was due to the impious activity of hard-hearted Prajapati Daksha. He was so cruel that he could not save her youngest daughter Sati from the act of committing suicide in the presence of sisters. Sati's mother could understand how much Sati had been pained by the insult of her father. Sati had been present along with the other daughters, and Daksha had purposely received all of them but her because she happened to be the wife of Lord Shiva. This consideration convinced the wife of Daksha of the danger which was now ahead, and thus she knew that Daksha must be prepared to die for his heinous act. So Prasuti could understand what's going to happen. Yastvanta kale vipta jata kalapaha swashul surjyar pitta dig gajendraha vitatya nrityati uditat dordhvaja ucchatahasastanyatno abhinadik. At the time of dissolution, Lord Shiva's hair is scattered and he pierces the rulers of different directions with his trident. He laughs and dances proudly, scattering their hands like flags as thunder scatters the clouds all over the world. It looked more like the time of dissolution. Excuse me. Prasuti, who appreciated the power and strength of her son-in-law, Lord Shiva, is describing what it does at the time of dissolution. This description indicates that the strength of Lord Shiva is so great that Daksha's power could not be set in comparison to it. At the time of dissolution, Lord Shiva, with his trident in hand, dances over the rulers of the different planets, and his hair is scattered just as the clouds are scattered over all directions, in order to plunge the different planets into incessant torrents of rain. In the last phase of dissolution, all the planets become inundated with water, and that inundation is caused by the dancing of Lord Shiva. This dance is called the Pralaya dance, or the dance of dissolution, or Tandava Nritya. Prasuti could understand that the dangers ahead resulted not only from Daksha's having neglected her daughter, but also because of his neglecting the prestige and honor of Lord Shiva. So this is what can happen if we commit offense against a devotee. And Sati being a devotee of Krishna, she is his external energy, personification of his external energy. So very, very important personality, and Daksha committed offense against her and against Lord Shiva. So he had to pay the price. Amarshitva tam asayat tejasam manyupluktam durniriksham vrikuteya karal danshtrabhi rudasta bhaganam syat swasti kim kopyato vidhatuhu. The gigantic black man bared his fearful teeth. By the movements of his brows, he scattered the luminaries all over the sky, and he covered them with a strong, piercing effulgence. Because of the misbehavior of Daksha, even Lord Brahma, Daksha's father, could not have been saved from the great exhibition of anger. So Veerbhadra was really angry. Bhavemam udvigna adrishochimane janena dakshasya muhur mahatmana utpetur patatamaha sasrasho bhayavaha divi bhumocha paryak. While all the people talked among themselves, Daksha saw dangerous omens from all sides, from the earth and from the sky. In this verse, Daksha has been described as Mahatma. The word Mahatma has been commented upon by different commentators in various manners. Veeraraghavacharya has indicated that this word Mahatma means steady in heart. That is to say that Daksha was so strong-hearted that even when his beloved daughter was prepared to lay down her life, he was steady and unshaken. But in spite of his being so strong-hearted, he was perturbed when he saw the various disturbances created by the gigantic black demon. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur remarks in this connection that even if one is called a Mahatma or a great soul, unless he exhibits the symptoms of a Mahatma, he should be considered a Duratma or a degraded soul. In Bhagavad Gita, the word Mahatma describes the pure devotees of the Lord. A Mahatma is always under the guidance of the internal energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And thus, how could such a misbehaved person as Daksha be a Mahatma? A Mahatma is supposed to have all the good qualities of the demigods. And thus, Daksha is lacking those qualities, could not be called a Mahatma. He should be called a Duratma instead, a degraded soul. The word Mahatma to describe the qualifications of Daksha is used sarcastically. So in the shloka, Maitreya Muni called Daksha Janen Dakshasya Muhur Mahatmana. See, acharyas go through each and every word of the shloka. And so Veeraraghavacharya in his commentary, so even acharyas can differ in their understanding, in their interpretation, in their realizations of the words. But overall, the principle remains the same. They don't change the principle. There could be some differences here and there. Like Veeraraghavacharya says, here Maitreya Muni called him Mahatma. Mahatma means steady in the heart, means he's fixed up. Although Daksha was considered fixed up wrongly, that he didn't even stop Sati from committing suicide. He was so strong-hearted, so hard-hearted. So that could be hard-hearted, but he was fixed. So he could be called Mahatma. But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says he shouldn't have been called a Mahatma. And if he's called Mahatma, it's only called sarcastically. Means Maitreya Muni didn't mean Mahatma, actually he meant Duratma. Tavat Rudranu Charar Mahamako Nana Yudher Vaman Karu Dayudher Pinger Pishangar Mat Karodarane Paryadravad Bhir Vidur Anvad Rudhyapt. My dear Vidura, all the followers of Lord Shiva surrounded the arena of sacrifice. They were of short stature and were equipped with various kinds of weapons. Their bodies appeared to be like those of sharks, blackish and yellowish. They ran all around the sacrificial arena and thus began to create disturbances. Kechid Bhavanju Pragmancham Patni Shalam Tatha Pare Sadagnintra Shalam Cha Tadviharam Mahanasam. Some of the soldiers pulled down the pillars which were supporting the pandal of sacrifice. Some of them entered the female quarters. Some began destroying the sacrificial arena, and some entered the kitchen and the residential quarters. Ruru Jur Yagya Patrani Tathakya Agni Nashayan Kundeshwar Mutrayan Kechid Vibhir Dur Vedir Mekhala. They broke all the pots made for use in the sacrifice, and some of them began to extinguish the sacrificial fire. Some tore down the boundary line of the sacrificial arena, and some passed urine on the arena. Avadhanta muninanye eke patni ratarjayan apare jagruhur devan pratyasanan palaitanan. Some blocked the way of the fleeing sages, some threatened the women assembled there, and some arrested the demigods who were fleeing the pandal. can only imagine the power of these associates of Virabhadra or associates of Lord Shiva, accompanying Virabhadra. So either we can stop, we got still many shlokas are there in the chapter. So we can stop here and we can try to complete the chapter tomorrow and see anybody has any questions or comments. Okay, so we can stop here. You all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Thank you,
Hare
Guruji.
Krishna. Jai
Thank
Shri
you.